I've spent 11 years building webinars. I've run over 5,000 of them and generated over $10 million in revenue. In this video, I'm going to share with you 10 of my most valuable lessons and show you how to consistently land high-value clients without spending money on ads, how to get leads on autopilot even after your webinar ends and it's not pre-recorded webinars, and how you can get leads for $0. Now, lesson number 1 is one of the most important lessons I've got for you. If you miss it, you could watch millions of dollars slip away just like I did. So lesson number 1, build a system, not a single webinar. When I was working at a financial coaching company called Enriched Academy, I was spending up to $200,000 a month on ads to a webinar. Our goal was to scale fast, and it was working. We had over 5,000 people register for our webinars every single month. But then ads started skyrocketing, and all of a sudden what was working stopped working. The profit margins got thinner every month. We tried everything. We switched agencies, rebuilt offers, tweaked funnels, ran new campaigns, but nothing worked. The profit and loss kept bleeding red. And eventually, after several leadership team meetings, we made the call. We shut down the division. But there was one thing we didn't shut down, and that unexpectedly made millions in profit. It was a weekly webinar. No ad budget, no full-time team, just a part-time copywriter, a team member that would host the webinar. And for the next 3 years, that single webinar generated millions in profits. I remember one week we only had like 40 people attend live. I almost didn't run it, but 12 people booked a call, 4 became clients, and that 1 hour made $20,000. So here's what I've learned. There are 2 types of webinars. One that brings you new leads and one that converts the leads that don't buy right away. And when you stack those 2 on top of each other week after week, you create a system that consistently brings in new leads every single week. So let me show you how we did it. Every Tuesday at 1 p.m., we ran a live webinar covering a new topic, but we didn't create new content. We just took what we had in our courses, our events, our recordings, and we repurposed it to a webinar. We sent out 2 emails to our list and had a different team member host every week. And at the end, we just made a simple, soft offer like, hey, if you enjoyed this, if you want more one-on-one help, book a call with us. It was so simple, and the results, they were incredible as we were booking 50 to 100 calls each month. Our profit margins 10x because we stopped pouring money into ads, and the relationship with our audience got stronger every single week. Every time we did a webinar, the relationship just kept increasing, kept getting stronger. And eventually a lot of the people that didn't buy at first, didn't buy after the first webinar, they eventually bought because we just kept building up this trust and this goodwill. So here's how you can apply it to your business. Start with 1 webinar a month. Give it a name, like Training Tuesdays. Pick a topic your audience actually cares about. Now you got to ask them. Don't just guess. Ask your audience. Set up a Zoom webinars account. It's like $100 to do every single month. It's pretty easy. And send 2 promo emails to your list and mention it in every single email you send out. Just put it in the PS line, like, hey, we got an upcoming webinar, would love for you to attend. If you want to take a step further, you could use social media, you could do all those things. But if you just want to get started, this is how you can easily do it. And if you're thinking, oh my gosh, this sounds like so much work, I got to do a monthly webinar, it's probably because you haven't learned how to leverage your webinar the right way. And that brings me to lesson number 2. Leverage your webinars. One of the biggest mistakes I see is people run a webinar and there's no long-term value. But what if one webinar could fuel your entire content strategy for the month? I actually have a client who runs a monthly webinar, and that single webinar turns into content for their podcast, YouTube, blog, short-term, email, newsletter. Now here's a secret. You plan your repurposing before you go live. Because if you wait until the end, you end up trying to slice something up that was never designed to be sliced. It won't flow, it won't land. So let me show you how you can actually do this. You break your webinar into 4 clear sections, and you want to make sure each section covers 1 key idea. You could give each section a strong opening, and I highly encourage you to do a strong hook, because that's going to be the hook in your YouTube video or in your podcast. And once it's done, you cut each section and that becomes its own piece of content, right? You now have 4 YouTube videos, 4 podcasts, and it's pretty amazing. This next lesson is really important. I'm going to show you how you could set your webinar so you can make money instantly, but at the same time, build a money-making asset that generates you leads on autopilot. And that's creating a flagship webinar. Let me tell you about a client of mine, Sam Demo. We built out a flagship webinar that in 60 minutes, it generated $36,000 in revenue. It doubled the size of his business. He texted me after, he couldn't believe it. So if you want to actually go into more detail on how we did that, I recorded a separate video that you could check out there. So the results alone, they were great from that webinar, but the real value was in the asset that we built. We built something that you could run over and over again, that you could slice it up, that you could put into different sections. And I call that a flagship webinar. When done right, a flagship webinar can bring in consistent, profitable revenue today and tomorrow. It's one of the best long-term assets that you could build for your business. Let me show you how you structure this using the FLAG framework. So F is first impression. This is your intro. This sets this tone, it grabs the attention, and it answers the big question that your audience has. Who are you? And why should I listen to you? You need to build trust fast. You need to show credibility, and never forget, the first 5 minutes is the biggest drop-off point. So you got to grab their attention. You got to hook them. The next step is L, lead with belief. This is your core message. Every single business has a core message. You do as well. Like, what is the one belief your audience needs to have before they purchase your service? The more clear you are on that, and the more you can articulate and reinforce it in your video, you're going to see conversion rates skyrocket. So it's so important. We'll dive into it a little deeper into another video. The next step is A, add real value. This is your teaching section, right? You don't just drop some tips. You got to deliver real wins, real value, and you could quietly handle all the objections along the way. So it's about adding value, but kind of being a little sneaky, really addressing the objections that your people have. By the end of this section, you want people thinking, wow, that was amazing. This person really knows what they're talking about. This helps me. I trust them. The next step, G, is guide them to the next step. This is your close, but you don't want to think about as selling. You want to think about it as explaining. Explain your service, explain how it could help them and the results that they could see. And what is the next logical step for someone who's ready? And this is where most people fall flat. But when done right, this is where the conversions happen. Now, once you build a flagship webinar like this, the possibilities are endless. You could turn the whole thing into a video sales page. You could break it down into 4 different content sections. You could transcribe it for email campaigns or website copy, or you could take that presentation on the road, go to podcasts, keynotes. Each section becomes its own marketing asset, a really powerful one on its own. So up next, let's talk about what actually gets people to show up. Because if no one registers and attends, even the best webinars in the world won't make you $1. Lesson number 4 is packaging your webinar. One of my clients is in the fitness space, and he used to get around 500 people registering for his webinars, which is pretty good. Now, we made one simple change in the next webinar, 1,232 registrations. That's a 140% increase from one single tweak. And it wasn't the content, it wasn't the funnel, it was just one thing, packaging, right? You can spend hours creating an amazing webinar, but if no one registers and sees it, it doesn't matter. And packaging is one of those, it's so underrated. It's one of the most underrated factors. So let me ask you, which of these 2 webinars would you rather sign up for? The first one or the second one? Right? I'm going to take a guess that it was the second one. Why? Because it looks like you're going to get more value from it, right? People judge the entire experience before they even click register. That's why great packaging equals higher registrations. So let me break down the 4 steps to get more registrations for your webinar. These are 4 steps to get record-breaking registrations. Number 1, nail the topic. The more relevant your topic is, the higher the registration rate. And stop guessing, right? If you're picking topics based on what you think will work, you're probably not going to do that well. Ask your audience, send a quick survey. What do they want? What challenges are they facing? And if you could create a webinar around that, you're going to get higher registrations. Step number 2, create a strong headline. This is what people click. You want to make it bold, make it benefit driven, make it impossible to ignore. You want to think less like a teacher and more like a copywriter. Step number 3 is offer a tangible takeaway. Always include a valuable resource, a worksheet, a checklist, a script. It gives people a reason to show up. Step number 4, create a webinar poster. Your poster is your thumbnail. It's what people see. You're on your socials, your emails, and we're all visuals. You know that saying, a picture says 1,000 words? It's the same thing with your webinar. If you have a really strong visual, they won't even read the rest of your webinar. They'll sign up for it. So if you do those 4 things, it is impossible for you not to see an increase in registration rates. Like, I think it's actually physically or digitally impossible for you not to see an increase in registrations. Now, let's say you nailed the packaging, people are registering, which is amazing. Here is a fact. If the webinar experience sucks, your audience will check out and they will never attend another webinar, and your chances of converting them are going to go down. There's one feature that makes webinars different from every other platform, but most people don't use it. It's the fact that you're live in real time with your audience. So lesson number 5, engage with your audience. If you're not going to engage with your audience, don't do a webinar, just record a video. Engagement is the key to creating a better experience for your audience and getting higher conversions. Now, if you want a masterclass on how to do this, don't study marketers. Study streamers. The average Twitch user watches a stream for 90 minutes per day, and it's not because of the content, it's because of how they interact. It's the first time in history where the audience can be a part of the experience. Now compare that to most webinars, right? They feel like lectures or like 90s infomercials, no interaction, no connection, no energy. Please don't do that, right? When you use engagement the right way, 3 things can happen. You build trust faster with your audience, you create a better learning experience for your audience, and you get feedback you can actually use. So how do you do this? Let me give you 4 simple strategies on how to do it. Number 1, run a poll. A poll is so easy to run. You could just make it yes or no, see what people's interactions are. People love seeing how other people respond to the questions. I remember calling people after a webinar that we did for a client, and I'm like, what did you enjoy about the webinar? The one thing that stood out was like, she was like, it was amazing to see how people respond to the questions and see what their challenges are and what they're thinking. So using a poll effectively, it's so easy to do and can make your webinar 10 times better. Number 2 is one of my favorites, is using the reactions feature, right? And ask people to use it. You could say, hey, if you're enjoying this, give a heart or give a thumbs up, right? Or if you watch streamers, they always say like, put W in the chat. That is a version of webinars. It doesn't need to be fancy, just intentional. You can also do a quiz, right? So you could do an easy quiz. And again, these features are all built into Zoom. Like, they're really simple to use. And then finally, do a simple survey. That is like 101 of engagement. If you want to go deeper, you could take it to a whole other level. You can add gamification and do a lot of fun stuff. But you got to make sure of one thing, because if you do this wrong, then it's going to ruin your experience. Make sure that the engagement adds to the educational experience. You don't want to be educating on one topic and then have a quiz on like movies or something like that. It needs to support the education. That is the key to creating great engagement. Next up, I'm going to show you how to turn those registrations and that engagement into sales. So the next 3 lessons are all about sales. And the first one, it's the easiest one to do, and it can easily double your results. So here it is. Call people as soon as they register for your webinar. That's it. They just signed up. They're interested, and that's your window. Pick up the phone and just ask them what they're hoping to get from the webinar. See if they're qualified, and then you can maybe book a demo or a strategy call. This one move does 2 important things for you. It gets you more qualified calls, and it dramatically increases your show-up rate. So that's lesson number 6. Call your leads the moment they register. It's so simple, but it's so powerful, and most people just don't do it. And if you're not going to do it, you could hire a virtual assistant or get someone on your team to do it. Now, let me show you a couple other ways to get more sales. Lesson number 7 is choose the right close for your webinar. This lesson is all about one thing. How do you sell your services during your webinar? This part matters a lot because the way you present your offer plays a huge role in how your audience feels, responds, and ultimately converts. Really, really important. So here's the key insight. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. Nah, right? Because you need to pick the method that fits your style, your audience, and your webinar's goal. Some webinars are not designed for a hard sell. They're just there for a value add. So here are 4 proven ways to close on your webinar. Let me walk you through them. Number 1 is the hard close. This is the direct, high conversion strategy. This is like you're in the rink and you're like boxing. I use this when I was running 2 webinars a week to a cold audience. It was 60 minutes of value, 30 to 60 minutes of structured closing. I ran 500 of just those live webinars, and my average conversion rate was around 17%. It works really well, but you don't want to do it too much. The second type of close is a soft close. This is a more subtle approach, right? After teaching, you take 5 to 10 minutes to walk through your service, you highlight the benefits, and just simply invite people to book a call if they want to learn more. I really like this type of close, and honestly, when you do it right, it works great. The third type of close is a follow-up close. So sometimes you don't mention your offer at all during the webinar. Instead, you close through a well-planned follow-up. Email sequences, retargeting ads, personal outreach like texts, calls, or DMs. And let me just say, follow-up is so powerful. Around 43% of the revenue that we generate from these campaigns is from follow-ups. And then close number 4 is a no close. Some brands choose to just go in on value and trust. If you watch a McKinsey & Company webinar, there's no close, no pitch at all. One of my clients does a monthly show. They focus purely on content and community. Their NPS score on their first show was 100, which is unheard of, your net promoter score. And one of the reasons why is they're not closing during the webinar. There's no hard close. There's no hard pitch. It's a long-term strategy that builds loyalty over time. It's like top of funnel marketing. And this is great. I love this, honestly. Now, each of these methods work. They just work differently, right? Your job is to pick the one that works for the goal you have for that specific webinar, right? Not every webinar is the same close. A lot of my clients, 1 month, they'll do no close. The next month, they'll do a hard close if it's during a promotion. The month after that, they'll do a soft close. You could change it up and use different closes for different webinars. Next up, I'm going to share with you one of the most important principles that just won't improve your webinar. It'll improve your marketing right across the board. Now, one of the most important things every high-performing webinar has in common, a clearly defined core message. Most people I speak to have no idea what their business's core message are. They have some idea, but it's not clear. It needs to be like written in one sentence. And what your core message is, it's the key belief your audience must have before they buy your service. Once you're clear on that belief, everything changes. You're going to see a better ROI on your webinars, your content, your emails, your ads, all of it. A great example of this is Tony Robbins. Let's go check out his website here. You could see if you go into the About, the system, you got the Robbins Success System, right? A scientifically proven system to close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. That is the core message. That's it right there. The scientifically proven system to close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. If you believe in that the Robbins Success System can do that for you, then you're going to purchase this program, right? And guess what? Take a look at the whole page. It's doing everything to reinforce the Robbins Success System, talking about how great it is, testimonials, it's amazing, do it. And by the time you go through it, he's installed this belief that if you're someone in your life that you want to close the gap between where you are and where you want to be, you got to use this success system. And then you're going to purchase his program. So perfect example, study this, because this is how you dial in your core message. Now, you want to have this in your webinar, but again, as I mentioned before, it's not just in your webinar. You could take this and put it on your website. You could put it in your emails. You could put it in so many different places with your marketing. But I promise you, if you define your core message, you spend a lot of time dialing it in, it will be one of the best marketing assets for you and your company. The next lesson I have for you is going to help you get new leads for $0. And it's so easy to do. Now, this stat is going to shock you. 43% of the people who register for our clients' webinars are brand new leads, completely brand new. And here's the wild part. We don't run ads. So where are they coming from? They're coming from word of mouth. We make the webinar so good, so useful, so practical. People want to share it. They forward it to their friends, their colleagues, their team members. They drop the link in their group chat. They bring it up in conversations and team meetings. And then we give them a nudge. We nudge them a little, not too much, just a small nudge. We add this simple line to every email before and after the webinar. It's a PS email. Hey, if you know someone who'd love this training, forward it to them. That's it. And it works. Guys, a few months ago, a friend forwarded me a webinar from Colin and Samir. It was about YouTube. I watched it and I bought the course. It was the webinar replay. I wasn't even on the live webinar. And it wasn't because someone sold me on it. It was because someone I trusted forwarded me the email and I bought the program. And that's how word of mouth works. It's quiet, it's sneaky, it's organic. I remember when we ran this for Enriched Academy, we had people coming into our CRM and we were so confused. We were like, where are these leads coming from? They're not from Facebook. They're not from organic. Like, Where are they? And then we just eventually learned people were sharing our webinars. And word of mouth marketing is still one of the most powerful marketing principles, especially if you're selling high ticket services, because most of your clients are not going to buy right away. If your service is a couple $1,000s, they need time. They need to trust you. And when they hear it from a friend, that trust is already built in. Like, think about how much of a better lead you're going to get when getting referred someone than like a cold audience. It's a way better lead. So lesson number 9, use timeless marketing principle of word of mouth. Make your webinar so good, people have to share it, then ask people to share it. That's how you start bringing in leads for $0 without ad spend, and they are amazing leads. Let me tell you that. The last lesson took me 5 years to learn, and if I learned this earlier, it would have made me millions of dollars. You see, most marketing campaigns fail because people give up too early on them. Here's what usually happens. A coach will launch a campaign, they'll wait a week, they don't see any sales, and they'll call it a failure. But high ticket sales don't work on short timelines. I was speaking with a client who sells a $30,000 coaching program. I asked him, how long does it usually take someone to buy? And his answer, up to 2 years. He said, most of my clients were on my list for 12 to 24 months before they said yes. According to Focus Digital, the average sales cycle for a consulting service is 103 days. That's over 3 months. When I was a vice president at a financial coaching company in Riched Academy, we ran a weekly webinar. And the data showed the average buyer watched 4 webinars and took 6 months before becoming a client. 4 webinars in 6 months, right? That's a long-term sales cycle. But most coaches give up after 1 webinar. That's the wrong mindset. The real strategy, show up, stay consistent, keep adding value. If you do that, you are going to create a machine that just generates you leads consistently over and over again. If you want high ticket clients, stop thinking in weeks and start thinking in months. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more lessons, I'm going to share dozens more in this video.